Hey, welcome back and welcome to another reading, Taurus. This is the general reading for November for those of you who have a Taurus sun, moon, or rising. And if you don't have one of those placements and it's a title or the thumbnail that drew you to the read, I encourage you to stick around, as we always say. There may be something that you can take away from this reading still. If you'd like to support the channel, all you'll have to do is just watch the ad that'll be at the end of this video. And let's see, what else do we have? I think that's all the announcements we have. Thank you for showing up, showing out. Let's get started, shall we? It's my life. Don't you forget. There's not much they can say, is there? There is not much that they can do. They're really not seeing you. You know, it's that point. You know the point I'm talking about, where you know, it's your legacy and it's your life and it's your decision and it's your... Did I say it was your legacy? And it is the degree to which you are invested in it that determines the lengths you will go to defend it, to, you know, convince yourself or people of its value. Which is interesting, because if it's, you know, if something's valuable or has value, then, you know, it can be argued just how much one needs to prove anything, or one needs to make other people believe it. It just is. You just are. You know, when there's a hot stove in front of you and you know that the stove is hot, and what do you do to prevent yourself from getting burned? You put up some kind of barrier in between you and the thing that is most painful to the touch. So there is this distance and this kind of learned association or connection with difficulty, or with a kind of instability. And who's gonna touch a burning stove? Who's gonna walk into a burning building? Not you. Look at what you spent so much time building. Look at all that you've achieved. So there's much at stake. In more than one area. Alright, I stopped to watch the first part through because I feel like it went by so fast. And I just wanted a moment to take it in, and I hit record again. Now let's just talk about this for a while. And we'll start in the top left there with the 10 of Pentacles. There is a lot at stake. This is a high stakes game you're playing. And you're all in. Now I don't know the rules of poker or why even, card games is coming to mind right now. Maybe because that's what we're doing. But, I think maybe it's a perfect metaphor, right? Because in poker, there are people who really have it, and there are the people who pretend. They're the people who know that they're good, so they try to get everybody else to go in on it, or whatever it is that they do. They match energy. And there are those who pretend like they have it to pass themselves off as having a stronger hand than they actually do. So there is this theme, and maybe where I'm going with this, just to kind of give this whole tangent some kind of meaning, is that there are the haves and the have-nots. There are the people who have it truly, where it's real and genuine, and there are those who pretend, and they're trying to pass themselves off as if they have it all figured out, as if they have that winning hand to work with. They say that we can only, work with the cards you're dealt. And are you being honest with yourself about your hand? For many of you, this is real. And there's something there's a message that maybe you really want to get across, but you can't. Like we were saying, it's a touchy subject. You know that to do so would be you'd be giving someone exactly what they want, and maybe you just don't want to give them the satisfaction. So then this becomes talk about pride, and about emotion, and about doing what's right, and about, doing what's right in spite of how we feel, and, oftentimes giving up some things that feel good, or some kind of notoriety that comes with those things, or, positive hits on your reputation, to walk down the road less traveled with only enough belongings that you can carry. But they're the essentials, they're the things that are most important. And if you can see that intrinsic value that the thing has and what it adds to your life, and be willing to make that sacrifice, you can kind of see how everything else is extra and baggage that you don't necessarily need to carry, and pressure that is self-imposed. A situation is only as complex as we believe it is. It really doesn't have to be that deep. You can only sit in indecision for so long. You can only stall for so long. And calling it that doesn't quite describe it, does it? Because it's not like you're not trying to think through it. It's not like you're not trying to work through it. It's not like you don't want to try. I would just liken it to, when you're really sleepy and you take a nap, but then you wake up sleepy, or you're still tired, and it's almost like the thing that you had that was the remedy for how you were feeling, it doesn't work like it's supposed to. That's what I would liken it to. You have these periods where you're thinking through it and trying to figure out how to make an attempt that you can live with, figuring out how to try and feel good about how you're trying and not have any regrets or fear of getting hurt in the process. But if you don't make any progress on that, then looking back at it, it just kind of seems like a waste of time, because the issue persists, the problem remains unsolved. And when you were supposed to be resting and waking up renewed, you face the day again. With resolving that issue or clearing that obstacle. That being something that's at the top of your to-do list and something that haunts you. I don't think you really hate change like people think you do. And I don't think that you're as stubborn as people think you are. I think you respond to reason. I think that when a good point is made, I think that lands, and I think that it sticks with you. But there is that difference, right, between, knowing the path and walking the path. There is a difference between reason and will. Are you ready to show up is the question that's asked. And, we can refer back to this for any time you've entered into a new chapter of your life. You've had to will your way through it. All of the skeletons are coming out of the closet. All of the there's been so many pots that have been put on the back burner that you're running out of space on the stove. And this is that season where you're no longer avoiding the unavoidable, and you're not the only one who feels that way. And just understand that all of you are going to have different ways of looking at it or looking at that process. You will have different truths, different narratives, and different ideas about who and what a victim truly is, and about what it looks like, feels like to be victimized, what it looks like, feels like to be accused. Now, this is all good, and how, after everything I just said, this is all good because this is really good to come forth, and this is what is great about Scorpio season, is that it answers all the questions that everyone has. It spills all the tea. And it's a time that's full of the missing pieces. And this is why it's good. We start connecting the dots. Shit starts lining up. It's getting ready to take off. And before it can take off, before it can propel, the season has to address the secrets. It has to address the things that have been ignored, that have been quietly corroding. Its parts. If you're looking for more content, we're on Apple Podcasts and we're on Spotify Podcasts. Check out The Way Out Pod. We're live. And yeah, if you want to support this channel, watch the ad at the end of this video. I love you. I hope you found this helpful in some form or fashion. If what we talked about doesn't make a whole lot of sense, maybe give this a try in about a month and a half, couple months, and know that this video was made in peace and with the desire to help, not to judge. It's not about shame, it's not about blame. It's just a game.